So why is China different from the West, right? The approach I'm talking about, right? It's very clear. It is guided by different values, right? The values are the one that they prioritizes, right? Lives come first, right? Yeah, all these things can wait, right? So now, how they going to restart the whole engine? They have actually done something. They have released a lot of,
Before we begin the podcast, have you gotten your free ebook? It's called the Build a Six-Figure Portfolio Guidebook. Now, inside it, we share with you the tips and tricks to bring your stock investing skills to the next level. The best part, it's only 10 pages long and it's totally free. Whether you're on Spotify or YouTube, the link to download is in the description, or you can go to www.firl.co/free or www.firl.co/free. Hello guys, welcome back to the FIRL Podcast, best place for long-term stock investors. Today we have two special guests, Mr. Scott and Mr. Derrick of Omni Capital. We're going to ask about what's Omni Capital a bit later on, but welcome to the podcast and thank you for making all the way here.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Yeah.
So
they color coded, you realize?
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly. You color code with them.
Yeah,
also.
I color coded them.
I'm the odd one out.
No, this is sub. The fashion sub.
Yeah,
only black and white only one.
Yeah, correct. What's the word again? What's the word? Minimalist.
Minimalist.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. But anyway, we always start off the pod, right, asking about life before whatever you're doing now, right?
Sure.
So maybe let's start with Scott, right? How do you get into the investment field?
Sure. Yeah, I graduated in 1993, and I came back at the end, and I came back is because for the family, of course, for the family. But I was studying business and specializing in the investment in the States. So when I was in the States, I had a very special field trip because it was in the investment club.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, so I joined the club, and then they brought us, to a few really fantastic places like the Goldman Sachs, the Morgan Stanley. So that's when I got hold of what is a money manager all about. Yeah, so I got to understand the industry more, and I was hoping that I was able to find something similar in Malaysia.
I see.
Yeah, but when I came out in 1994, started looking for a job, I was disappointed. The first job that I got interviewed for was a stockbroking firm. And at that time, it was a bull market in 1993.
Yes, it's a go-go year.
Yeah, it was a fantastic year for all the brokers. And brokers were busy hiring everybody. They were splashing their ads all over. And however, they pay peanuts. Yeah, at that time, 1994, they only pay something like 1,000 ringgit per month for the new graduates.
For field finance, right?
Yeah. And then I asked them, what is the job that I'm supposed to do? They say, we are full of paperwork. So stash of all those scripts. Yeah. So eventually they say, we'll pay you, don't worry, we'll pay you 3 years of bonus.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, that was the boom year at that time. Yeah, but peanuts at the at the basic. Yeah. Then at the back they will give you back some, but you work 12 hours a day. Right. Yeah. So, but then that is not the job I wanted. Right, because it is not a investment job. It's just stockbroking job. Yeah. So eventually I continued to look for a job. It took me about 3 months. Yeah. And one day I saw an ad running, said that it's an investment boutique firm.
Okay.
Just newly opened in 1994. And when I saw that, I saw the address come with it. So I couldn't wait. So I brought my CV all the way to see the CEO. Yeah, and I gave it to him, said, I want this job. Yeah. So I always believe in, taking the initiative.
Yep.
To go and do something look for something what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the job, and he hired me. Surprisingly, yeah. Luck. I think there's a lot of luck in it. Yeah, because that's the first boutique investment firm
In Malaysia.
in Malaysia. Yeah, Film Asset Management.
Yes.
Dr. Tan Chong Kui. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how I got to know him on the meeting, and then he had a short interview with me, and then subsequently, and he just opened shop. You know, yeah, there were only two of them, the two directors, and plus one admin person. So I'm the first investment executive that they hired.
I see.
Wow.
Yeah, I was very lucky.
History.
Yeah. History. That was a history.
Employee 002 after the admin lah.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that set me off on my career, and I was there for 2.5 years.
I see.
Yeah.
Right.
So as an investment executive, you basically do lots of research, right? Yeah. So everything landed on the table, on your lap. You just got to do.
Yep.
And it was like a very, very, I think the hardest working life I ever had.
Right.
For the first 2.5 years, it was the learning curve is so steep, you know.
Okay.
And basically, I'm so eager to learn. That's why anything come along, I just go for it.
Right.
Yeah. So I would say that that it's well spent, the 2.5 years.
And it was mainly in the public markets as well, right?
Oh
Or
yes, they only
you
do
do
public
markets.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dr. Tan only do public equity.
I see.
I will ask a little bit about that learning curve. I'm very interested to know, but
Sure.
I need to ask Derrick now.
Yep.
So how did you get started in investments?
When I was 15 years old, I was actually influenced by my uncle,
Okay.
who was a stockbroker in Taiwan
I
at
see.
that time. Yeah, but then after he retired, then he went to Dalian, China. Then he told me you should come over to China. When I was 15, alone. Yeah, so I went there alone, and then he taught me everything about the stock market
Right.
in China. And then since then, I'm actually interested. So I decided to went to university, actually in Miri, Curtin Sarawak. Yeah.
Okay.
For my foundation and my first year. Then I went to Australia for Curtin as well, at Perth. And then lastly, I went to China, Nottingham
I
for my
see.
master
I see.
in science. Yeah.
Okay.
In
Finance
science,
and investment. Sorry.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
MSc. Yeah.
And how long ago was it since that trip when you were 15 to China?
How long? Oh,
He's
How long
trying to-
ago?
Yeah.
Okay. 20 years
okay.
ago.
I believe it's 2005.
I see.
Yeah, that's right.
For
So
about
17.
Yeah, 17
Yeah.
years.
Right.
Yeah. So I stayed there for like 3 months. Yeah.
Okay.
Is it?
Yeah.
Why do you think your uncle actually, hey Derrick, come here? Was it because he felt that you had this grip or interest into the stock market, or was it like just a chance of random, hey, my nephew?
I think he's someone like Scott, quite alike too.
I see.
Yeah, where he likes to think big picture.
Okay.
He went to China 30 years ago.
I see.
When China was not really.
He was a Malaysian.
He was Malaysian. Yeah,
I see.
Yeah, he's Malaysian, but he went to China 30 years ago, and then until 50, then he already retired because he see the trend of China.
I see.
So he went there, work hard, and then finally, retire and all that. And then he's trying to pass on something
I see.
to
A
the next
legacy.
generation. Yeah, but he don't really have any kids. Because he was actually very, into the work and all that.
Yeah.
Understand. So he did had a He had a
yeah,
family.
he has a wife.
I see, but no
Yeah,
kids lah.
No kids. Yeah,
I see.
because
So-
of the work and all that
I see.
business. Yeah. So that's why he treated me as a
Right.
son lah.
the son.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he just passed on whatever
Yeah.
he wants to.
Actually, I want to peel a little bit on Scott because
Yeah.
yours was you had an inspiration and an uncle, but for Scott, why did you even study finance? Was there a role model? I mean, most kids your age, right, would be like an engineer, a doctor, a lawyer, or,
Yeah.
Why finance? Was there a role model in your life that made you
No,
pick?
actually, my family comes from business background.
I see.
Yeah, so there was never an investment person in the family. But I think the whole inspiration came when I was studying in the US.
I see.
Yeah, up to the point of junior college, I was studying in Singapore. By the way.
Oh, you were in JC, okay.
I was, I started studying in a Mandarin school here, primary school. and I went to Singapore to study from my secondary, junior college, and NUS. And before that, before I finished that, I went to the US for the completion of the graduate. Yeah. Okay. The whole thing was that I never wanted to do investment in my junior years.
Yeah, but why pick
but
finance?
It's just that inspiration came the moment when I was doing the investment club thing. Suddenly, I really found that that's a job I wanted.
I see.
Because it gave me the kind of the forever learning journey that I will be in. Because in the investment, you are not short of things to learn.
Oh yeah,
Until the day you die, the
Exactly.
things are still changing.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that is what I learned for the last 28 years of my career, right? Yeah, except there was one period of time where I really feel that I was slowing down.
I see.
Yeah, that was because when I feel that Malaysian market was already, coming to a standstill. That was feel that I stopped learning. I became a bit restless at that time.
I see.
Yeah, so come back to your question that inspiration came when I was in the investment club in the US.
Great.
right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna reserve this question to the end about your legacy and what you think can inspire more people to actually come into this field, and also where do you think is lacking? But that a little bit later.
Sure.
lah. Yeah.
Sure. So I mean, staying on Scott, right? You mentioned that there was this learning curve, right? And I hear Derrick say that you are, to use his words, a big picture investor. So that's very interesting. So I want to understand, right? Through that, how has the evolution been like for you as an investor? And what would you say is your style of investing right now?
Sure. Yeah. When I started out in the career in the 1990s, Malaysian market was still considered, is up and coming, emerging, one of the hottest
Asian tiger.
Yeah. In fact, most of my friends who were in the US thought that I became a super fund manager when I came back. You say, wow, you must be making tons of money because market is so hot. Over there. Yeah. I did tell them, say that it's a very hot market and very sought after job for most people. My style of investment is very clear. When I started out, you have to start out from the basic. So you are basically a micro person. So you start learning the investment through understanding the companies, right? You do lots of research. Yeah. So you gone through all the investment processes, right? Yeah. Of the methodology, the philosophy. I'm lucky because I had the best fund manager, right? Yeah. I was working with him, and he basically, one thing about Dr. Tando, not to talk bad about him, but he's not a person that will sit down and teach you, guide you, B, C, D, E.
Is the tough love kind of teaching?
No, he always say that
love,
you should pay me to learn from me.
Oh,
no, he is a really, he's still my mentor today. To me, yeah. But through observation of his investing life alone, you get so much of it. Right, yeah, because you're seeing the best fund manager at work, right? Yeah,
Right.
You just like if you were to have a chance to work with Warren Buffett. I think that you will pay him, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's the same kind of thing. Yeah, of course, he's a Warren Buffett of Asia, as what people claim now. He is. Yeah. So for him, the 2.5 years, you really see how he picks stocks, right? His motto is in the investment is that never be fully invested at all times.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. So what he want to tell the investors is that you could be wrong, right? Market may not be always on a smooth sailing. So it's always good to have that just in case, that waiting of cash that can be deployed, when the time comes. So when you have a crash, I mean, we have seen enough crashes of the last 20 years now.
Yeah. Don't even say 20 years. The past 3 years, enough crashes. Already.
Yeah, exactly.
A baptism of fire for a lot new.
So you can see that exactly, so important that you must be able to see things from a macro way, right? Yeah. So I learned from him how he actually, maneuver during those volatility, and how he uses, the greed and the fear, right, to his best advantage in the market volatilities.
Right.
Yeah. So as a young person who, of course, I'm not like those young people who were inspired when they were so young.
Yeah.
But I saw it straight from my eyes first time. The best of the best. Yeah. So I was lucky in that sense because I was like a clean slate. A slate. So I don't have any prior mis-teaching or anything like that. So I got the best. He was a sort of like a value investor.
Okay.
Yeah, Dr. Tan was a value investor, but he is more than a value investor sometimes, of course, right? So he knows how to let the shares run when he sees the momentum, right? When he sees the market is going up, he let it run. But when market come down, he will buy on the way down, right? Yeah, of course, nobody is perfect, can spot the bottom of the market.
Yeah, of course.
But we can feel it more or less when it's near to the bottom, right? Yeah, when there's value, right? Yeah. So value investing still is the guidance on how to pick stocks and everything. But I, of course, I this is what the best of him that I pick up from him. But since then, of course, I have put in my own way of investing style.
What is your version? It'd be very interesting to know.
As at now,
yeah,
I think I move away from value investing.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I've moved away from, not say I don't see the good of value investing now. Of course, you still got to do your studies of the valuation of the company, the kind of the growth potential and everything. But macro has become very important. Okay. Right, yeah. Because macro represents the direction of a market, of a country, of the world now. Right, yeah. If you cannot sense the macro direction, the likelihood is that you will put your money to work at the wrong time, at the wrong place.
Interesting.
Yeah. So macro investing has to be the top down. That is so important. It's a strategy. It's the strategy's way of putting the
allocation.
Asset allocation. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Just to peel back a little bit on that philosophy, Scott. For someone starting out, let's just say Derrick probably 15 years ago, would it be advisable for him to start with a top-down approach, or will you still think that a bottoms-up approach, only when you reach a certain level of experience or maturity, then you combine?
Always bottoms up.
Okay.
Always.
Okay.
Why is that so? Very simple. Because as a new person, a newbie in the industry, you have not put all the dots together, right? So you can't have a very, very strong macro feel, right? Yeah. So you need to start from the bottom. When you gone through all the basics, you put all these dots together, then that sense of macro will come in naturally. Yeah. Okay. I did ask Dr. Tan actually, because I always feel that I should get your opinion, even before I leave the company at that time. I said, well, for the 2.5 years, what do you think is my strength? He said, your gut feel is very strong. He said, you got a very good gut feel. Yeah, that is how I feel over the years. Yes, it's true. That of course, as a young person, I may not know myself best. So this is his parting words to me, that you actually have a gut feel. You know how to feel the market. Yeah, so that is something which I think that I carry until today, and I can certainly say that that's my strength.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have to go to Derrick now. Yeah. I have so many questions about the gut feel part, but just hold your guts. Okay. Yeah, Derrick. So how you say, obviously you're younger, but how would you describe your evolution right now? Where are you at in the investment methodology, philosophy, and things like that?
I think I'm at the stage where I'm the younger self of Scott at that point of time.
I see.
Yeah, so clean sheet. And then he just taught me everything from micro, and then go out a little bit on the macro. But of course, in terms of strategy, he's the one that still in charge of.
Right.
Yeah, so for me, other than this is what we call the team, like what we should look at. Yeah, so Scott might allocate the 3 regions that we should focus on,
right?
Which is China, plus ASEAN and US. So within that, I need to find out what is the key trends of the country. Then from there, I get deep dive into what markets, what companies to look into. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So that's my focus.
Even as a micro investors, because we also interview a lot of micro investors, they also have different styles, right? So how you describe the way you look? Like if I give you the company's documents and all the public information and all that, what do you look first? What do you think is good? What do you think is bad? Things like that.
I think because we have a strategy called hedging. Yeah. So that is a combination of the long and short as well. So other than identifying the company that is good, for value, but we also pay attention to those that have the potential that may not be in the value yet, according to value, which is making losses or whatever.
Right.
But there's still a momentum there. So I'm like a combination of like momentum and value.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you look at the formula of like the P ratio,
Right.
if you look at the P only equals to the earning per share times the P ratio, right? So the earning per share is something like more like fundamentals to me, and then the P is something valuation. We talk about the valuation as in maybe you see some frenzy going on or not, or there's a value for or not. Yeah. So I use this combination, but of course the macro side, Scott is the one that. Strategy side, we're in charge. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So
I'm blend everything.
Yeah, it's a tech team, right? Actually.
Tech team, consumption team,
Right.
healthcare as well. Yeah.
So thanks for sharing that. Now that I know that you all do also, you all have a long short portfolio, right? Essentially, what do you all have a rule or philosophy of, let's like market neutrality? That the term where basically at any one point in time, the amount of the value of your shorts should be the same as the value of your longs, or you all play around with your net exposures every now and then.
Well, depending on whether how bullish or bearish you are.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Of course, natural long will be that you just hold all the stocks that you have.
Correct.
Right. Or any of the other asset classes that you have. Of course, to hedge it, that means that you can be just slightly hedged, fully hedged, or over hedged.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So if you are, like for example, let's say 6 months ago, I was turning very bearish on the market. Right. Yeah. I was telling Derrick, in order to let you see the degree of this bear market, you can fully hedge it or even beyond hedge it. Right. Yeah. So that means you can turn net short on the portfolio. Yeah. I said this is allowed to me. But if I'm actually at the job of as a fund manager, like my previous life, I would never get to do it.
Yeah. No opportunities.
No opportunity. I was telling him that for my 20-something years, of the investment life, the first about 20 years, that was when I was a fund manager. When we saw the bear market coming, sometimes we can only stare at it, because we need to have a certain exposure that we cannot even take off the table. Right? Yeah. Minimum is 70%.
Yep.
Yeah. If I were to fight for it, I have to go all the way to the board, to the investment committee, and tell them I want to cut it down further, or even hold all cash, that kind of thing. But then they will ask you, what makes you so sure that you are not wrong? So at the end, we give up. We just go with the compliance, and say, okay, we don't want to fight until that. We just go with the mandate. Yeah, so I find that over the time, that kind of bureaucracy or the restriction, constraint, becoming hindering my performance, right? Yeah, I could have be a much better performer if I have my own way of hedging, than just accepting the fact that the mandate cannot be changed, cannot be challenged. Yeah. So that's the pain of it.
That's very interesting, because if you look at, I've got two follow-up questions, and it's related. The first one is to market structure. The other one is the fund structure. So in Malaysia, there's not much instruments for you to short.
True. Yeah. Only the futures.
Only futures, or maybe warrants. Okay. So in markets like this, how can your strategy play out, or you avoid markets where there is no tools or opportunities for you to short, if you want to be in a net short position?
Yeah. When I was the fund manager at that time, I basically have no other option, only futures. There was not even warrants at that time that I can short. Right? Yeah. So And at that time also, the futures are very thinly traded. You can't even hedge it.
Yeah.
No liquidity for you to hedge.
Yeah.
So basically, every single fund manager in town is long only, right? They are only doing long only.
Yeah.
And like you say, the market structure and whatever, so we are held hostage. Right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very true. Second thing is related to your earlier statement is about the fund structure itself, because here you have an IC, your investment committee. At the same time, you also held hostage if it's an open-end fund when people want to withdraw. Because let's just say if it's a unit trust or whatever, markets, when markets turn bearish, that's where you get your highest exemptions, your withdrawal rates and all that kind of thing. Redemption, sorry.
Yeah.
Redemption. So what are your thought process in structuring your fund to be able to give, Derrick those kind of opportunities that, wow, you can be net short, or is it better to do it close end, or do you think it's possible in an open end structure, or do you come up with a hybrid structure that you have? What do you think? Maybe your thoughts or Derrick's thoughts about how do you structure your fund to be able to allow that kind of wiggle room?
Yeah, you see that in the old days when I was the fund manager from 1990s to the early 2000, basically the blue chips underperform, right? But the best performance come from the mid cap and the sometimes even small cap. Yeah. So what we did was that we were held hostage again, because if we were to benchmark against the KLCI, then that 70% of the benchmark are in the blue chips, right? Yeah, and then the other 30% are the mid and small cap stocks, and eventually we went for that risk, right? We do not want to be contained by this benchmark risk, right? That we are willing to off tangent. We are willing to go off that, and we bought a lot into the small cap and the big cap. The mid cap, right? And that is making up for the risk that we taking on the benchmark, right? Yeah. However, not all times it can be that easy. Yeah, because when you capture the market correct in the right direction, you make more than enough to compensate for all the risks that you mentioned. So let's say that if I were to buy the small and the big cap and the mid cap, and I make, let's say, double the benchmark, right? Yeah, that is good enough to take in all those liquidity risks that you mentioned just now. So just in case somebody and say that, I want to withdraw because you perform so well, right? Yeah, so be it, because we will be able to take the profit on those performance and pay them.
I see.
Yeah, so that is still okay at that point of time. But I believe market has changed a lot over the last 10 years or so. Market in Malaysia has become so incredibly illiquid, right? Yeah, the big cap are totally not performing
Absolutely.
now, yeah. And the small cap now, even that they are performing, some of them are performing quite good, but there are not enough of them performing that good. Yeah. And eventually also that when you were to take profit on those illiquid small cap and mid cap, you will hurt yourself in a bit.
Push it down.
You push it down while you're taking you're chasing profit, right? Yeah. So eventually that also compromised because you have the liquidity that you have to pay out.
So in a way, am I right to summarize that you circumnavigate that fund structure by having more alpha, by having the small and mid caps? Yeah. Derrick, what are your thoughts on fund structures? Because I'm pretty sure you've seen different fund structures and markets. What do you think is the best way you can structure a fund, and looking at what you're doing in Omni?
I think Scott answered that pretty well already.
Okay.
Yeah. So at this point of time, we are not a fund. Yeah. We are an investment company, So, but however, we adopt a hedge strategy.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
Yeah.
So maybe that's where we should start talking a bit about Omni Capital, right? I'm not sure how many partners there are. Certainly, both of you are part of that. So maybe walk me through the beginning, right? Like why start Omni Capital, and why is it not a fund house? Why is it an investment company? Things like that.
Okay, when I left the industry in 2012, end of 2012, basically, I have already, more or less figured out, how I want to move on to the next stage of life. I think the first 20 years of the fund management life has given me enough, view of the market, right? Yeah. So from then on, I believe that I was very optimistic on the world, but I'm not optimistic on Malaysia at that time. Yeah. So I was taking a very bearish view because I was a CIO, right, until 2008, right? Yeah. Then we had our best performance, our funds awards and all those things. So then that's when I moved on to become a CEO at the next company, MIDF.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was headhunted to restructure the asset management company, but I couldn't finish my job.
Huh.
Yeah, so after 4 years and 4 months, I think, so I left the industry. And I wanted to get out of Malaysia in a way, because I think I have enough of Malaysian market. After 20 years in the market, I have enough of it because I do not see Malaysian market able to scale further. Yeah, it already reached the bottleneck and already reached a very structurally, problematic stage. Yeah.
Why do you think so? I mean, I know we had this questions chat before, but why do you think? Probably give us the factual reasons of why do you think
the
that
structural
the
limitations.
structural limitations,
structural limitation.
Yeah.
Okay, first thing is that in the financial market, right, we are looking for progressive changes. We want to do more. We want to bring in new things to the market. That's why we propose alternative investment here and there.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. So, but when I actually was trying to do the job and trying to build a team here, like for example, during that time, I proposed to my board. As a CEO, I proposed to my board. I said that I want to transform the local team into a regional global team. That was my structural change I recommended. I said, at that time, we have about 5 unit trusts, all Malaysian product.
Yes. All Malaysian equity lah.
Equity, yeah. I said, please condense it into one. I said, enough. One is good enough because this is a single country fund, right? You don't really need to have 5 country funds in Malaysia, right? You're doing the same thing. Maybe that you can cut and slice the different way, like small cap, mid cap, or big cap, all these things, or money market fund, all these things. So to me, is rather redundant, right? I already see that there is no more value creation in that segregation, right? If the whole market cannot perform, then no matter how you cut and slice, it still cannot perform, right? So that's why I say, please condense into one unit trust, enough. I told all my unit trust holders, that's what the direction we want to proceed, right? And I say, I want to transform by changing the team into a regional and global team.
Fantastic.
So I start putting them all on different markets, all outside Malaysia. We even spend $1 million to change our backroom system into cater to global investing.
So that the data and everything aggregation will be better.
Everything. So that we can do the portfolio attrition, all this performance, everything. So and we were targeting to launch our first regional fund. That was in the year 2010.
Did it happen?
Okay, what happened? Yes.
It was proposed to the board, accepted. Eventually, they rescinded.
Died a natural death lah. In their case but not in your case
Yeah, they didn't want to proceed with it. Then I said, thank you very much. I got to go.
Okay.
Right.
Because I stick by to what I see.
Understood.
I believe that what I see coming is something so important. Because you see that for me to take a very important step of my career at that point of time, after spending 20 years in the industry, I'm not going to take something lightly, right?
Yes.
I cannot just say that I just want to please everybody. I cannot be just doing something where I disagree with people. And I just go ahead and bluff myself out of it. No, that's why I decided I leave. And since then, I've been doing soul searching. Since then. So 2013 onwards, I've been doing that. And I decided, after I look at the macro, right? The whole world, how the whole world is moving, I decided that China is going to be my focus. Yeah. So from then on, that's why I move on. My career since then, the first 3 years from 2013 to 2015, I team up with somebody trying to bring some private equity deals to China.
I see.
Yeah, and in a way that we were almost there. We almost got the deal done with this government agency.
I see.
From Beijing. Yeah, they were looking up on our project, which is a very advanced US technology, almost used in the NASA space technology.
Okay.
It's called air particulation technology. Yeah, which can separate the impurities from the water.
I see.
In the air. They can even do the cleansing of the whole city's air.
I see.
Yeah, it was that advanced.
Okay.
Yeah, but 2013, as you know, they have a change of government. Xi Jinping came in, and eventually they start removing all the administrators and all the people from the last administration. So eventually the project was stuck at their EPU unit, the Fa Kai Wei they call it. Yeah. So we couldn't. Then that's when I ended that short.
I see.
3 years of
now it makes sense after reading your profile. Okay.
Yeah.
So but I have to ask now, right? Have you found your soul in Omni Capital?
Oh, now? Yeah. I think this is probably the last project I will ever do.
Okay.
Regain your soul already.
So now maybe I hear from Derrick, right?
Yeah.
How did you all actually meet?
Let him talk.
Omni Capital.
I came back from China in late 2017.
Okay.
Right.
And then I joined a small PE firm, and then my landlord happened to be his brother. So because I've been studying, Sarawak, Australia, China, so I don't really have friends here. So my landlord told me, I felt bad that you are alone in your home, during Chinese New Year. So why not you just come over my place, at Uncle place, right?
Uncle's
Then that is where I met Scott in 2018.
It was during the what do you call it?
Gong.
Yeah, the Chinese. The praying to the heaven on
Hokkien lang.
Hokkien.
No, I'm Teochew, but half Teochew, half Hokkien.
I'm Hokkien.
He's Hokkien.
Okay.
So I went there, and then I met Scott for the first time. So we just talked everything about investment, and
that
then
was 2018 February.
February.
Something like that.
So I guess what clicked with both?
I think
of
the
y'all?
China side.
So that y'all were really in agreement with where China is going and the growth and all that.
Well, I think based on what he has gone through in China so far, I believe he believes in China.
Right.
Yeah. So it's not. I don't have to sell it to him. I think he sold already.
I'm sold already.
Yeah.
So
he see with his own eyes, you see.
Yeah.
So speaking of what you do now at Omni Capital, would you say most capital is deployed in China, like for
As a region?
Chinese public or maybe private equity? Correct me if I'm wrong. Is that how you're looking at the big picture, right? The gut feel.
Yeah. Okay. We believe that China will be our core market.
Okay.
For the future.
Yeah.
For us,
Next.
I mean, maybe I have another 30 years of my investment life maximum.
Minimum.
Yeah, minimum. I'm quite okay with 30 years because I already have almost 30 years, right? First 30 years, so that is not so China focused. So the next 30 years, I believe we are going into the most exciting times. Why I say that is because based on the studies of the history of China, how they progress.
Right.
Yeah, the milestone and everything. We believe that we have a great reset in the year 2020.
Great
Right?
reset,
Yeah.
okay.
We call it the Great Reset because I believe that is the cutting off point, right? For a new era.
Point, yeah.
Right, yeah. So the before that was belonging to the US. Right? So it's a clear thing. US superpowerdom ended in 2020.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what is the beginning of the new superpower is China from then onwards.
Right.
Right. You can call it whatever you want. Of course, we call it the Great Reset. But what I want to point out to you is that what are the significant events that happened during this period of time, the transition, that is so symbolic in the sense that US is over. right? Yeah, you can see that the you must be having some comparison here. US cope with the COVID-19 in a disastrous way, right? They died more than 1 million people. China barely died more than 4,000, right? Yeah. Okay. So that is, you're talking about the population size is 4 times of the US, right? Yeah. Look at how well they cope with the you can call it whatever you want, the zero COVID policy, right? Because some people are condemning it, especially the Western media, and even some people we think that is too restrictive and overdone.
Right.
But you must understand the priorities of the government, right? If your priority is to save the economy, then of course you will pro-US way. But if you believe lives are important, then you will be pro-China in a sense.
Right.
Okay, now it's too early to tell probably that China has successfully proven themselves. I think at this point of time, a lot of people still are very reserved when it comes to commenting on the success of the China. But I personally believe that I'm pro-life, right? So I believe that they should save life first, because you will always have more than enough opportunity to turn the economy around after you save the lives of the people, right? Yeah, just like imagine, that now, right? China now almost can convincingly say that they conquer the Omicron virus. So from now on, you can see that they have no hesitation on how to push the economy forward, right? And US now having the spent so much money in the QE, 4 trillion in the last 2 years.
Yep.
Yeah, to pump prime the economy, and hoping that the economy will be able to revive, and that on a good trajectory. I don't think so, right? That easy money or that free money that they had last few years are too easy, right? They will not be able to keep it, right? We all know that money made from easy way, you will never be able to keep it, right? These are all spent on consumption and one-off. It is not actually being recycled back into a new
real economy,
real sector, infrastructure and everything. Yeah. So you look at how the way that the China is planning, even during the COVID, and not just they are excellent in any way in the whatever the 13-year 5-year plan, 5-year plan, those kind of thing. Yeah, they are excellent in the way they plan their economy. US are all over the place. I don't see a very sustainable, right? Yeah, even with the 2 trillion the plan and everything. Sure. Until today, we don't see a lot of things taking off in the infrastructure plan, right? Yeah. Whereas China now is talking about planning the next, doubling up the next rail, right? The network for the country. So that is only on the real economy itself. But how government actually is planning on to reviving this economy, I think that's a lot more fireworks to come, right? Yeah. So I am having that full confidence in the execution, on the leadership of China, right? I think that of course the hottest topic now is the Ukraine and the Russia war.
Yep.
And how that is going to spiral out of control and eventually affect China. Even maybe there will be a second another war coming soon. For an island, right? Yeah. So all this, I think that we are in a very big turbulence. If you want to count the starting point from 2020 onwards, it can last for 10 years. During this transition of the superpower.
Understand.
Yeah. It got complicated because of the virus, of the war, and so forth. Yeah.
Can I play devil's advocate a little bit?
Sure.
Okay. So, do you think that China's success in having all this execution, due to the structure of a very top-down approach, a very uniform top-down approach, whereas in the Western style kind of democracies is a little bit more liberal, a little bit more consensus mechanism, and is that, do you think, one of the prime factors, or do you think there are other factors in play?
Okay. Yes, definitely is the key factors, right? The key factors. I think China is the most misunderstood country at the moment to many people outside China, right? China today has 90-something% of their population or the citizens supporting the China government.
Yes, correct.
Right. That this is the highest ever, I think, in any country, almost coming to 100%. Right. That kind of consensus. Why are the Chinese so having so high conviction of the government? It's very clear. The government has done all the right things, right? I do not know whether you follow the development in China closely, the way how they uplift the poverty, people from the poverty, right? Yeah. So and that alone is telling you people really believe in the government to take care of them, right? And now with this COVID, it's another round of convincing to them. I have you at your back, right? Your lives are more important than the economy, the dollar and cents. Right, yeah. Okay, so that is what through action you see government actually how they take care of their people, right? After all, we have been saying here, right? Government is supposed to take care of rakyat, right? Yeah, I mean, but we say lah, we never do much
lip service,
lip service, yeah. But for China government, they really did it, right? Yeah. So that is very obvious. Now, back to your things of top down. I believe in any country, the most important thing is leadership. Right. Yeah. I think that you can look at how China gone through the 5,000 years of history of changing, different dynasty, and then changing the different leadership even in this current CCP alone. Right. Yeah. You have the Mao Zedong, then come to the Deng Xiaoping, then come to this Xi Jinping. Right. Look at the leadership in each of them. Right. Each time a new leader come in, they actually carry the country to a higher level. Of course, we don't want to argue whether their methods, are right or wrong, or whether they are pro human rights or not. All those things. Well, they were living in difficult times.
That's right.
Right. Yeah. Mao having to revive China from the very beginning. He's the first leader to revive China, and at that time the whole country was in disarray.
Yeah.
In right?
chaos.
Yeah, in chaos, right? They have gone through how many hundreds years of 200-300 years of humiliation, so to say. They always say that, right? Where they used to be the biggest economy of the world, and then they became the pariah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So that kind of a fallen from the side, from the heaven, right, is too much for them. If without such a strong leader to revive the whole country, I don't think we can see China today. So he is credited for that beginning, doing the most difficult part, because they were so poor, right? When you have so little resources, right, that tells you how difficult the job is, right? Yeah, I mean, just want to compare Malaysia. We were so lucky.
Oh yes,
right. We have so much resources, and yet we still let the country continue to run down the drain, right? Yeah. So compared to what they had before, they had almost nothing. The people were dying of famine, right, at that time. So they actually they revive. First, of course, they have to get rid of the other opposition first, right? Which happened to run to the island now, right? Yeah, small island now, right? After they failed in the the civil war, right? So now, just imagine after that thing is done, you get rid of the political opposition, so you can focus on doing the job. Right, yeah, just to do the hard job. It took them how many years to revive the economy? And besides the fact that they got embroiled into all the Second World War and everything, right? More destruction, right? Even tougher, right? So amazing that they have actually revived and make everybody out of poverty in 70 years. That was their first mission, the first 100-year plan. Yeah, and it completed 2020, right? Yeah, okay. Yeah, so 70 years, right, of hardship, right? And now, for the next 100 years, which is supposed to be by 2050, right? Yeah, they concurrently running these two plans, right? So what we are seeing now is the next 30 years is going to be the most exciting, because it's going to be about wealth creation. Right, when people are poor, you don't talk about wealth creation, because they have nothing to start
Just
with.
put food on the table first.
Yes, fill your stomach, right? Yeah, take care of you, everything. Now it's talking about everybody now is ready for wealth creation.
So the party is not too late in China?
No.
Party's just starting.
Very early.
We believe that we are just at the crux
Okay.
At the very turning point
Very,
of that.
very
Yeah, that's how I believe.
I see.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think that with all these jitters in the Chinese market because of all these crackdowns, when do you think will be leading indicators to give market that kind of confidence that, you know, the market is a little bit more liberal.
Yeah.
The market is
The
not,
people outside can go in,
yeah,
their money, take out their money.
yes,
easily.
because right now, I mean, the portrayal, especially in the investing community, is that, wow, China just a flick of a thumb, I can change this, I can change that, you know.
Yeah.
So when do you see that? Do you think it will be liberalized, or do you think it will continue on, but in a more controlled manner? What do you think?
Sure.
Yeah.
I run back to my history again, my
please,
career. 2015 was the end of my first, foray into the China market, right, with the government agency there.
Yeah.
From 2016 onwards, right, for 2 years, I was teaming up with a private equity company from Shanghai.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, we set up an office here in KL, but it didn't last more than 2 years because we couldn't take our money. Yeah, we were hoping that the government at that time. Okay, during that period of time, even during the Xi Jinping, after they changing their people, right, the political leaders and everything, they were actually allowing a lot of the companies to invest freely.
I see.
During that time, until 2017, right? Yeah, China allowed all the companies to take out money to invest overseas. That's why they were buying a lot of companies overseas. You remember?
I remember. Yes. I remember now. I remember now
yeah.
because I was invested in properties in Malaysia, and when the Chinese come here, right?
Yeah.
Oh, my elite. It's not elite, it's elite.
Yeah.
Elite, the elite.
I think
One building, the whole building.
I think I
Yeah.
read an article somewhere, the famous the
Acquisition.
Tsar Wang Qishan,
Oh, Wang
where
Qishan.
he
Yeah.
has like 100 million worth of assets, I think, in the US or
Overseas.
something like that. Yeah. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, it's true. So a lot of these big companies were taking out a lot of money.
Right.
Yeah, and of course, even underground, it was ongoing. Individuals are allowed to take up to
50,000.
50,000
Correct.
US dollars per
Correct.
year,
Correct.
each individual. And you know that at that time, the China's their foreign reserve
Yep.
was 4 trillion.
Yes, and it dropped to 3.
Yes, because of all this
Correct.
outflow.
Exodus of
Yes.
money.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Capital outflow.
Xi Jinping say, "Hey, wait a minute! I'm supposed to reserve this money for one belt, one road.
Yeah.
Why you guys are
Yeah.
taking out all this money?
Yes, yes.
So that was the drive was already overdrive in a sense. Hey, you run down 25% of your
Foreign
forex,
reserve,
within
yeah.
that short period of time.
Yeah.
Right. Of course, they were earning a lot of money,
Yeah.
the Chinese company. That was the time we thought that our Shanghai partners thought that they could take out the money, and we set up the company and we look for deals, and all the deals on the table. So we are supposed to we propose to the investors in China. We are about to take out the money, and then Xi Jinping came in 2017, said stop.
Capital controls.
Yeah, all the taps are closed.
But do you think
We're
that's I guess where, like, because my view is that for China to succeed, the world needs to help China to succeed as well, right? They, people have to come in and invest and grow the economy.
FDIs are virtually
Yeah.
not just in terms of money, but in terms of different viewpoints,
Yeah.
different expertise, more.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we always use the example of, like, only recently China managed to manufacture, I think, the ballpoint pen
Yeah.
locally, right?
Yes.
So that's just a signal that you need to be connected to the world. You cannot go back to the Ming Dynasty where you can put up walls and things like that.
Yeah.
So the question for investors would be like, why is it that the Chinese themselves, when capital controls are lifted, they want to get their money out? Perhaps, maybe Derrick, because I know you're in China most of the time. Maybe you talk to a lot of these people, so give a sense, right, of what I just said.
You mean why they want to go out?
Yeah, why do we
Because
need
it's-
capital control?
So because like the pretense of the question maybe
Yeah,
help you sharpen is that if China is growing at such a good pace,
Yeah.
Why
People
they
go
want
in.
to?
yeah, why is there
They
people
still want to take out.
Yeah, I mean, I was just shown a chart yesterday. To your point, right?
Millionaires, right? It was the millionaires leaving. and everything,
Millionaires
was that?
leaving China
Yeah.
is crazy. It's
Yes,
the biggest.
one of the
actually.
biggest.
Yeah.
3,000 of them, right?
Yeah.
And they're going to
Australia.
usually the English-speaking nations.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
like
Yes.
because now the discussion is
Yeah.
can China overtake the US, right?
Correct.
And my view is that I want the best country to be number one, right? So I don't care who is the one. So the US is great because you can put in money and they allow you to take out money when and when.
Yes.
They don't care, right?
Yeah.
And the reason is because they have a certain confidence, right? We've got the best tech, we've got the deepest capital markets, we have a very diversified economy, they are good lifestyle, things like that, less pollution. What would you say to someone who's said what I just said? Is this an insecurity on the part of the Chinese government, or am I missing something on this?
I think why China company initially why they want to go out of the country is because they want to upgrade their manufacturing segment, as in like they want to improve themselves because they come from a very low base, low cost kind of manufacturing. So in order to actually speed up the process of improve on their skills and tech, so they have to go and acquire, and this is the fastest way to actually learn that. So I think that's the reason why they want to go out and invest. Like some of the important company like KUKA in Germany,
robot, yes.
Even Geely, okay, is coming out. Yeah, so even in Malaysia. So by doing this, they can actually learn from the external parties kind of tech, and then they revive and then get better, and then eventually transform themselves into a high-end kind of manufacturing. Yeah.
Right.
So I think it is one of the key reasons why they want to go out. Yeah.
Maybe again, let me try playing devil's advocate.
There are a lot of devils today. And so for some context, why is because actually a lot of our listeners are familiar with the China argument. Because I think Malaysian Chinese, compared to let's say Singaporean Chinese, right, we are more China, and then the Singaporeans can't even speak Mandarin anymore anyway. So they are more pro-US. So I think for our listeners, they are quite clear with the China argument.
Yes.
So the reason we bring this up is because we want to see the other side.
The other side,
It's not because we are anti-China.
Anti-China,
we just want to bring this up.
I have we both have a common friend. He went to Xinhua, and he's also a fund manager here, boutique fund manager here. And one of his mentors is actually a Japanese who is based in Shanghai. Funds of funds and all that. And they're very pro-China, but at the same time, what I want to tease out, like what MJ said, is what are the nuances that beyond the headlines? Because we are in certain WhatsApp chat, one guy pro-China. Wow, the moment
see the argument,
I tell you,
I go to sleep, I wake up, they're still at it.
Still at it, right? And then one guy is like just pro-US, and maybe this nuance or this clarifying questions you look at Japan. Japan in the 1980s and the 1990s, they were the leaders in innovation, and they actually, in a way, write off what US was producing. I mean,
they were exporting to the US a lot, same way China was.
Correct. And why they were successful was that in terms of culture and everything, they are Asians. We're just known to be hardworking. You go to the first time I went to Holland, right? I was like telling people, late shopping. What time? 7 o'clock. Here, people open the tent.
So open shop at 7.
Yeah, open shop at 7, right? So the point I'm trying to make, Japan succeeded, but they were still a very homogeneous society.
Yeah, sure.
Single race, very little immigration. And I see parallels to that in China. Because China, very little immigration inside, but outside, yes, more, right? So where do you think, as a culture, as a country that does not have this, and because of that, Japan stagnated. Do you think China will go through this in contrast to, let's say, more liberalized countries like the US or Australia, where they allow free flow of migration, free flow of people coming in,
where they have to build walls to keep people from coming in?
Yes. So why is that contrast in a way that related to the question? China, become millionaire, pump, you want to go outside. But I don't see you get a millionaire in Malaysia. Oh, I want to go China. It's the other way around. So why is that?
Yeah, I think this is something to do with the newfound wealth, right, of the country. You must understand the different stages all these people you have to go through, right? First, they come from super poor, right, background. So they gone through that. After the country was revived. They became the second largest economy, right? Basically you can see that some of those people who were poor, they become 暴发户. That means what? They suddenly become rich overnight.
The newfound rich.
Right.
Lah.
Yeah. So these are the people who don't think of the future like the country leadership, who plan the wealth, creation and everything. Because these people who have found the wealth all of a sudden, right?
I see.
Yeah. So they are the people they want to only to protect the wealth they can see.
I see.
Not the wealth of the generation, not the wealth of the country.
Common prosperity, right? That's the word they use.
Yeah, that's what I think they're going into now, right? Yeah.
Right.
You see, that some people are super lucky. They got rich very quickly during that 30 years, 40 years of opening up. So suddenly they have this wealth. They know that some of this wealth are, if they don't pay proper taxes, if they don't hide their wealth, it might be taken away. Because they still think that the government is like a gangster, right? The government think that, the minute that I catch you, I'm going to confiscate all your money.
The fear of the communist kind of.
Yes.
Because it has happened before.
It has happened before, right? Yeah. Because government say you can get rich, but doesn't mean that I cannot take away your money, right? Yeah. Because you look at a lot of politicians who got, super rich for the lousy reasons,
Yes.
right? So they were confiscated by government, right? Yeah. So people know that, especially those people who didn't get the wealth the right way, right?
Yep.
But if you actually pay proper taxes, you build your wealth there, your business is there, everything done properly, why should you be worried? I don't think the government can just take away and confiscate that way, right? So of course, Chinese being Chinese, you always don't want to put all your eggs in one basket.
Always have insurance plans.
And we heard that they have sent their children to study in Australia, and along with some of the wealth for them to buy the huge houses there, and that's how they transfer the wealth outside. Hopefully that will protect one day when it come in handy. A lot of Chinese think like that, including the Chinese here.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Some of them make huge money here. They also want to park outside.
Yes.
They never want to park everything in this country. So maybe it's a
Genetics.
Mindset.
You can say that.
Good stereotype.
It's a stereotype thing.
There's a term. I mean, we're all ethnically Chinese, right? There's a term they use for Chinese. It's called 小强. I don't know if you heard of it.
The cockroach,
right?
Can never die.
Can never die.
Not my favorite designation, but okay.
Well, I mean that all of us are Chinese now here, right? Yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to make us feel really superior to other people.
Yeah.
But if you look back on the history of the 5,000 years of the Chinese, you can see a lot of great things happening in this civilization.
Of course.
Right? Yeah. We are genetically a very hardworking people. Right? No matter where you are.
Yeah.
May you be in the US or Africa or anywhere.
Yeah.
You are going to slave away.
Yeah.
Right. You have seen it, all the Chinese restaurants sprouting out all over the world.
Yes.
Even when I was traveling throughout the world, right? Out of the corner of nowhere, suddenly come
Chinatown.
Chinatown or China's restaurant, right? Yeah. So it's very clear that there is some genetic thing in the Chinese that make them that way.
Yeah.
Right? They are wired that way, that they are hardworking. They like to diversify, they like to keep, the things for rainy days.
Yes.
These are all the good traits that have been passed on to generations, even no matter where they are.
Yeah.
Look at Malaysian Chinese. We are the most lucky.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I would say that, yes.
Right? Yeah. We get to keep our culture.
Yeah.
Right? Everything that we inherited from our past generations were brought from China.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. So of course, some of these are, not practiced today, but the bulk of the culture are still maintained.
Especially if we compare it to the Singaporeans.
Yes. Yeah.
Sorry, yes, continue.
Yeah. So that's what I want to say is that this transfer of wealth overseas, it is what you call an aberration of the times that we are living in.
Understand?
Yeah, because of the wealth that suddenly they created, they want to diversify a bit. They're scared of the government suddenly back out of their words, right?
Yes,
because
yes.
after all, the history of the government allowing capitalism has only been about 30, 40 years.
Yes,
right?
That's a
brand
point.
new.
Yeah, see that another point recently happened. Why are they going after Jack Ma? So the same thing, right? They think, you got too
powerful,
big,
too rich.
powerful.
Yeah, actually it's not.
I got to clamp you down.
Yeah.
But that's not the whole purpose.
Exactly.
That was the wrong reason, actually.
Yeah.
Then there were a lot of speculation in the market saying that, government has changed, they are backing out of capitalism and they want now to go back to their old authoritarianism. I said, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
No,
But
this is wrong.
The problem is people just read headlines. People like the drama. People like the conspiracy theories and all that.
Yeah.
But
As you understand the end case and financial case deeper, then you know why the government have to contain them.
yeah, microfinancing,
Yes.
shadow banking and all this.
You're getting out of hand your leverage.
Yes,
right.
yes.
It's not. You cannot be a healthy financial system with this. The contingency there.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It
So
will
we
be
all know.
mortgage-backed securities times 2, but with a bigger scale. Yeah.
So government got to come in and interfere.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. To correct the all these excesses. Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So that's why I say that until we get the full understanding of what the government trying to do, I will not accuse China government of doing that wrong thing.
Great.
Yeah.
I think in Chinese, 实事求是
Translate, please.
Translate, please.
based on facts
Okay.
and then execute
Oh,
based on facts.
实事求是,
Yeah.
Okay.
So they don't just talk big
be
and then
factual.
not
Yes,
doing
yes,
anything.
yes, yes.
This is how they work.
Yeah. Actually, I'm just being conscious of not trying to turn this into a political.
But I love this conversation about China. I think it's really, really good.
Sure.
No, because you see, especially with the Russian-Ukraine war, right? You see the media propaganda.
Yep.
The state's going to overdrive. I mean, it used to be an overdrive. Most people may not notice. Some people may not even notice now, but it becomes even more overdrive. But thanks for that insight. Here, I want to appeal a little bit deeper on looking forward. Meaning, if we know that this is the cusp of where China is going to grow for the next 30, 40 years, what do you think will be the leading indicators that the Chinese government, Chinese SEC equivalent, will be giving out to foreign investors to calm the jitters, to actually let them have that confidence, because it doesn't help. Yes, people in the know, people who 实事求是 go in deep, understand, right? But how many people actually take that time to spend to understand that nuance? Because for the retail investor, we have some friends who like, you invest in China, wow, So where do you think will be a good leading indicator where the Chinese, do they start relaxing certain things? Do they do away with a VIE structure? What do you think will help to calm the jitters?
I think we have to wait for the timing.
Okay.
Because you see, China government has their own timing. They know better than all of us what is the great timing for China, right? Even with dealing with a zero COVID situation, right? Why are they so uncompromising when it comes to why you have to close on everything, right? Yeah, you just close on. Maybe you can control in cluster form, whatever, better than anything, right? Yeah. So I believe we still do not know better than them what is their real agenda. Maybe they are planning it for the next pandemic. What if the next pandemic to happen again in our maybe next few years, like what Bill Gates is saying, right? Yeah. If it happened, who will be the first country who will know how to handle it better than everybody else?
China.
Because after they have the drill run for so many times, guess what? I think that will be in chaos. But they can actually go on and know when to cut and stop everything. That's how I feel. They are ready they might as well use it to the max to do this drill, right? For the next pandemic, if there's one again, right? That's one thing. So why is China different from the West, right? The approach I'm talking about, right? It's very clear. It is guided by different values, right? The values are the one that they prioritizes, right? Lives come first, right? Yeah, all these things can wait, right? So now, how they going to restart the whole engine? They have actually done something. They have released a lot of, the liquidity,
Leverage.
the reserve, the leverage, in the banking system. They have actually allowed a lot more SME loans to be, given out.
To be dispersed.
Yeah,
Okay.
to disperse. They have used food voucher, this and that. So many things they have done on the ground. Signs are coming. Signs are improving, right? But we cannot take the US standards that you must be immediate. I give you all the check straight away you go
Free
and
money,
spend.
yeah.
Free money.
Drug money.
Yeah, they drop money out of the
Helicopter
sky.
money.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. No, this kind of helicopter, money dropping out of the sky. is one-off. What they are wanting to is use a system.
So that it's more sustainable.
Yes, you use system to do the job, so you can see how is the effect. Not put
Instant.
$2,000 into your pocket and then you're hoping that you can save the economy. I don't think that's how the way Chinese wanted to implement the system.
Understood.
The approach is totally different.
Yeah. I think correct me if I'm wrong, one positive sign was that remember when I don't remember it was during Trump's time or Biden's time when they required all companies listed in the US to be audited and
Trump.
Was it Trump, right? Was it Trump?
Yeah.
And the Chinese authorities actually granted now some of this. Do you think that will happen more and more?
Well, I don't think that China will let go totally eventually.
Okay.
It's not going to be a free world as
Okay.
what the US wanted.
Okay.
Right? You can whatever they can accommodate, they'll accommodate because they look at the business because they are there's businessmen when it comes to dealing with these issues, right? Whether they raise money in the US, whether they continue to to be represented in the US. Like Didi, they insisted, no way, I'm not going to let you get the data, right? So you got to delist and come back, right? First, no problem. If you come back, I will release all these restriction again and let you revive your business, right? So Didi, you must buy when you go back to US and release, you go back to China and release, right? So this is a very clear case. They will give whatever they can, not
In Thailand.
what you say,
I see.
what you wanted.
Okay. I have one more nuanced question about VIE structures. VIE, variable
Interest entities.
interest entities, right? Because you actually don't own when you're buying.
You don't really own the.
Like Baba, JD. there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is there a way to circumnavigate that, or do you think it's a no-issue at all?
You see, I always think that this VIE formula
Structure,
or structure, the format, is just in between. Eventually, when the China economy is fully open up.
Okay, so you think they will transition into a more
It's
direct
just a
equity?
transition. Yeah, because I don't see there's any need for that anymore in the future. Let's say that this reset, the great reset, is the beginning of the transition, right? In the future, I can only see China opening up more and more, right? Yeah, I think that they want the investors to come in.
Right.
Yeah, they see that because when they are going into the next stage, right? Of course, why China for the first 40 years, during the reopen, right, of the economy, you are focusing on creating wealth for the local, because it's very clear if you let the FDI come in and they build all the factories, they own all the assets, eventually there's nothing much left for the local, right? You're working for the foreigners, right? Why do they have a totally different system in the internet? Why they must have a duplicate of everything of a US system? It's because they truly believe that should be in their control. Because it's my system. You're doing business here, you follow my system, right? Why should I use all your system? Eventually, I will be held hostage by you, right? Yeah. So this is what I believe that the China government, clearly from day one, they know what they wanted to do. No question about it. They are very crystal clear in the objective. Right?
Actually, just to add on,
Please.
one indicator is actually the negative list.
Please explain.
Also, basically, they list out which sector they cannot let the foreigner, get involved. So they have been reducing. So
I
that is one
see.
thing that they are actually been reducing over the years.
Great.
So they are actually open, not as close. Yeah.
Great.
For FDI.
That's a good point.
Because you raised that point, I have another devil advocate's question. The Chinese have always been accused of espionage, right? Espionage meaning stealing of trade secrets, technology, and all that.
Insider.
So, how do you think will China actually progress out of that? Or is China even wrongly accused of espionage? Or what are your thoughts on that actually?
Well, I can't say whether they did or not, but there are not enough facts out there for us to judge, right? Yeah. I mean, am I surprised if there's any? I'm not surprised.
Because the CIA does it also.
Yeah, exactly, right? I mean that, I think it's for us to judge, say which is a bigger evil, I say We look at facts.
Yeah.
Right.
The reason why I asked and related, I'm not trying to be political, but reason why I asked is because if there is this fear of espionage, then why would any country or any company would try to do technology transfer to China? Because it will be a reverse engineer. But obviously the same can be said of Japan in the 80s and the 90s. It's just that what would be an incentive for foreign direct investment to go into China when there's this fear of their IP being stolen? That's my point actually.
Yeah. You see that I think one of the common things about the lately, right, the rise of the Chinese tech, right, is always accused that it's all stolen, right? A lot of it is stolen. If it's so clearly is stolen, then why is China's space technology today even better than US? I mean, that did you steal something better? And then you didn't use it. I use it now because I stole it from you. That logic does not make sense to me, right? Yeah. Whether there's any technology transfer, definitely yes. During the early days, right? Yeah, when the FDI flowing into China, certainly there will be some technology transfer involved. But whether the Chinese people are those ruthless people that they steal all your technology and after that they go and start something on their own and after that then you become lousy and I become good, it seems that means Chinese people are more creative than you. After they've stolen from you, they can make it better. Yeah. So then why are you not better? Yeah. I mean, that logic to me is, are you saying that, just because they have stolen it, that's why they become so good? So that foundation of that argument to me is rather weak. I don't know. As I say, I don't have enough facts in front of me to say which cases.
I'm asking because I don't too. But that's what you see in the headlines, is it?
Yes, yeah. And furthermore, who are these people who making that accusations and how to substantiate it? Right? Yeah. Unless we have the facts.
Even Elon Musk is actually praised on the.
Yeah, they say that they're hardest working people.
Of course. WeChat, is better than Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter. That's why
they see the innovation.
Actually, when I don't know whether you read the tweet. It says when he met the Twitter team, he just said, what's the future direction? WeChat. He just said WeChat.
Or TikTok.
Or TikTok. Yeah.
I only have one last question on China, and I think that the challenge with something that even Japan has done better than China as well is the issue of soft power. I think that if you're going to be a superpower, you can have the hard power, which is the army and the technology, the finance. So let's call it maybe the finance, they're maybe not quite there yet, but they're catching up. The technology, they've closed the gap very well. Military, obviously, quite far behind. But
they just launched their third aircraft carrier,
Yeah, is it? Okay.
Yeah, just 2 days ago.
Yeah,
the third one. The third correct.
So,
the third one. They just launched.
So they're trying to catch up there. Each of these sectors are discussion on itself. But one thing that I have to say that they are furthest behind is the soft power. And the simple example, I mean, as investors, we talk about technicalities, we talk about numbers and data a lot. But sometimes the simple questions, like for example, right, nobody grows up saying, I want to work hard, save money, and then migrate to China. Where do they want to migrate to? Or where do they want to work at? By and large, it's in usually the English-speaking countries, right? Whether it's US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, things like that. And no one says China. So my question is, what do you think about that soft power building right now that the Chinese government is doing? Do you think they're doing a good job? Do you think they're in the right direction?
Okay. Hard power, like what you say, the military and the tech,
finance,
and of course the infrastructure, right? That they have built over the time. All these physical things that you can touch, right? Today, I don't think anybody can even challenge China, say that you're not the best. It's definitely the
especially
best.
in the manufacturing.
Yeah, manufacturing in every space, in the hub, all this infrastructure and everything. So now, just now on what you say, the soft power, right? You are talking about soft skill. In this sense here.
More like the perception, because the perception game. Part of the reason why the US has gotten away with a lot of things is because you've got your Hollywoods, you've got everything.
The culture, right?
Yeah, it's magnificent, right? In fact, when we think of eras, we think of what was the pop song that was the that was the most popular.
Training on
80s,
billboards.
Michael Jackson,
Yeah.
the 90s,
Yeah.
Backstreet Boys,
The
something like that.
sport of this,
Yeah, and like I said, no one grows up saying, mom
Yeah.
and dad, I want
Yeah.
to work hard and I'm going to retire in China. No one says that.
You know, when you said that pop culture, the first thing I said, no one's going to remember Liu Sanjie.
Yeah.
you know that one?
Of course. And I was like 7 years old, accompanying my grandfather to watch it. I'm like, where's my Mickey Mouse?
because I'm also a student.
That's one of my favorite movies from China.
And the reason I bring this up, right,
Yeah.
on a deeper level is because I'm also a student of Chinese history. And
Okay.
I look at the current regime and I compare it with previous highs.
Yeah.
And China has maybe 3 to 4 of these kind of,
The dynasties.
And I believe the current regime is not quite there yet. And I think the people, the number one dynasty for me
Yeah.
would be the Tang.
Tang Cao.
Because they were not just rich,
height,
they were not just all of that,
Correct.
but they were very metropolitan. And if you look at some of the best poets and the arts and the culture, and they were very open, right, for a good 100 years and after that,
Yeah.
So I look at it from a Chinese, I'm not pro-China or anything, but I look at it and say, like, this is where the current Chinese government needs to look to.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing the soft power not quite there yet. But I just want to get your thoughts, right,
Yeah.
on that part.
Yeah, certainly true. You cannot be, singing or a poem when you are hungry,
of course.
right? Yeah. So take care of the basic first, right?
first,
Yeah. So that is very clear. But actually, this is something which I totally have a different point of view on this. China has the greatest depth in terms of the soft power.
Okay.
It's just that now is not the time to use it yet.
It's not been turned on.
Yeah, it's not.
Why do you think it's not the right time?
You see, even when in the early 90s, when the first time I landed in China, right? Yeah, I saw a lot of poverty there, because that was the first trip to China that I went to climb the Great Wall of China and everything. I saw all those people selling all the poor people selling all their vegetables and begging for money and everything. This is all at the surface of the society, right? This is what we are poor. That's why we cannot present to you that kind of confidence, that kind of things inside there. But that soft power never left China, even during the 200-300 years of humiliation.
Okay.
You see that this soft power, so to say, right, is already genetically in you.
Okay.
But just that when you're hungry, you don't show it. You cannot show
suppress
it.
it. You have to suppress it.
You cannot. You cannot talk about the more cultural side of you when you are hungry and dealing with basic needs, right? So that's one thing. I always have great admiration for the Chinese leaders because it is the wisdom that they have in them. I mean, among all the world leaders now, I have the greatest admiration for Xi Jinping. You look at how he composed. I mean, his how he carry himself, right? Yeah, how he actually speak his words. You think of the deeper meanings behind his words, right? Yeah, and the kind of the vision he has for China and for the world. That is the beginning of the showing of the culture, that power, soft power,
right.
soon. But it starts with the leader first. Of course, the leader now, he is coming onto the world stage now. Last time he was talking about how to, settle the issues internally.
Poverty,
Right, yeah. Make everybody out of poverty. And then take care of the political corruption. So internal reshuffling and everything. Make sure that the whole administrative team is on the same page as him. So he will know how to push the agenda later. You cannot have a leader talking about soft power when your back is fighting against you. Right? Recently there's one more speculation saying that who's
Li Keqiang, is it?
Li Keqiang is fighting.
Yes, there was a rumor.
Yeah. Jiang
This
Zemin,
bullshit.
they always know. Yeah.
Okay.
This bullshit. There might be disagreement on how they look at zero COVID policy. But fighting, no, I don't think so. Right? Yeah. So I believe that he's probably having one of the best team now after the cleansing, for the last few years. And what is going on to the next stage is that he will be more and more prominent
On the outer world,
Yes.
rather than internal.
Yeah, because the internal now already has a strength. It already has a team that will know how to carry on doing the job. He doesn't need to micromanage. He doesn't need to keep on telling them what to do. because he has good people, right? He has a good system, and the people are no longer hungry. They can take care of all these, non-essential items now, right? Yeah. So now this is where is the time is about right for them to embark on exporting all these things,
Right.
right? Yeah, right. I mean, of course, if you want to use the example like US, right? US was lucky; they were never in the Second World War to begin with, right? Did you talk about the soft power from Europe during the Second World War?
Not really.
You're fighting, you're killing each other. You talk about soft power? No, right? That's not the time for it. The time for soft power is when you are ready to excel. That's why the next 30 years is going to be the most interesting time. Because not only in terms of wealth creation, right? They will once you feel wealthy, you'll spend a lot more time in cultural things, right? That's the natural progression, right? Yeah. So then the whole society become more and more cultured, right? Don't forget that there's 1 billion people, right? You remove 800 million people out of poverty. These people, for a few generations, were living in poverty. Or maybe how many generations, I don't know. You can think of 200 years, like 10 generations.
10 generations.
In poverty. And these people now suddenly, they cannot, they're not at the right mind to do soft power yet. I remember people telling me in the 80s and 90s that time, they said they will never go to China because they're so dirty. These people spit everywhere.
Yeah.
They pangsai everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah, so these
For
people.
you to see also.
Yeah,
Let you see also.
exactly. Yeah, I mean, wow. I mean that everybody can sleep over and see what
men and women.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So at that time, that all this soft power secondary, but there is something in them. They know what are the values that inherited from their past generations that never go away. That is like a source. It's just like it is not like bursting out, but it is hibernating and in building that over the time. So it is that it never die. This is why the mission of the government is to
Modern society.
Yeah, they want to
Socialism with
modern.
Chinese characteristics.
Chinese
Exactly.
characteristics,
Yeah,
modern
socialism.
society.
Actually,
Yeah.
they know that capitalism cannot be the way only forward, because you create those inequality. There's no way that you can have a healthy society with that kind of inequality.
Yeah.
When he was doing that, right? You know what I pictured? The Tesseract.
Yeah.
The Chinese Tesseract.
Yeah,
Sorry. It's just a Marvel.
Right? Actually, we can go on and on China. But it's actually almost 4 already. So I just want to wrap up with a few more personal questions, right? And both of y'all can answer. It's somewhat quick fire. You all don't have to elaborate too much. But what has been your best and worst investments? Let's start with Derrick, since he has not spoken about it.
Yes.
What's your best and worst investments? So what? Public, private markets doesn't matter.
Depends on how you define worst and best.
I'll let you define it. I'll let you define it.
Worst, I should say, when I first not invest but trade on forex market. Yeah, that is where I get to know myself in terms of the greed and fear. Yeah, because I can make 100% in 4 hours and then everything gone in next 4 hours. So that's the worst, and I learned a lot from that. Yeah, in terms of best, I would say those trades that I made has been executed based on my discipline. So that actually is very fulfilling.
I see.
So
I see.
So this is how I look at it.
So just one quick fire.
Yeah.
So when you mentioned the word trade rather than invest, meaning what's your average holding duration for any one of your positions?
Depends on the strategy.
Okay.
Because now we are very much focused on hedge.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you're talking about a long portfolio, that is very fundamental based that we can hold it for very long term. So we are quite flexible in that sense that it depends on. We have one more portfolio called momentum. So that is mostly trade.
I remember I saw the website. You have
3.
4, right? Three. Long,
Hedge, long, momentum.
And hedge.
Yeah. So hedge is like a combination of the long and momentum.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Scott.
Yeah. For the
Worst
best
and
investment,
best,
I always use this example because I think that that is one of the proudest investment return that I ever got. Right. It's from Dialogue. Yeah, because from the year when I started doing the investment myself at the time, it was 1998.
Ooh.
Yeah,
At least 40x already.
Yeah, that one. That time they were listed. Just and then they had a Cathay, and then they had a second board crash. That was a restart of the base, right? If you went in at that time and you hold it until 10 years later, 2008, you make tons of money on that. Because that was one of the best performing stocks, right? Because it was a small cap. It was a small cap, and it just every year consistently growing the profit 30% a year, right? So what kind of couldn't be better, for 10 years consecutive years. I remember after owning the stocks for quite a period of time, and then when they went into another opportunity, the Pengarang. When we look at the number, I was asking the analyst at that time, this stock is is having a project that is 10 times of this Cathay, right? It's a 5 million meter cube. This one it was 500,000.
Yes.
Why are you not calling a buy? At that time it was 10 times PE. I cannot understand the logic of this this analyst at that time. They were arguing this, arguing that. Also, this one is too slow because it's a model that based on recurring income and all this. But that's the beauty of it, right? You keep on building. You use your construction profit, during that construction time, and after the thing is constructed, you have all this recurring income coming through. So you never have a down year in terms of earnings. Isn't it a perfect stock for you to hold for long term? And this is one of the best return stocks I have ever.
Fantastic. Actually, now I'm pretty sure you're very pleased to hear that.
Worse. That was one of the worst. Worst. Okay. I don't know whether that is a luck or whatever. Right. I think all of you know about this stock called Transmart.
Yes.
Okay,
right?
please elaborate.
What's your story on this?
What's your story?
My story is very simple. Of course, when it was started out as a second board, I didn't pay attention on it at that time. But after that, they continued to deliver the earnings. Then they eventually went into the main board. But of course, it was a steady growth company at that time. But I was not so sure of the business model, whether how far it can scale, right? Because I like something that I can see a vision. It can be a 10-bagger. Then I call that, a really a superstar. So then one day, suddenly that they announced that, the Kwok brothers taking a stake in the company, right? And then they were talking about the company bought a lot of planes, right? I remember the MD-11s, the biggest plane, the cargo planes at that time. They bought 4 of them. Then they bought another 10 of those single aisle body, those things. So planning for big things. Of course, they were given the license to fly, to more destination. That's why the cargo business at that time it was booming, right? But one thing I was not sure is, can they really scale? I was afraid. Right? I was afraid that they will not be able, even they plan for big things, but they may not get that kind of a business. So I was worried until Robert Kwok came in.
I see.
And took a stake in it. Then I jumped in. Right? So at that time we took the private placement and everything. Because at that time they were raising a lot of money to buy the planes and to prepare for this big business. So we thought if Robert Kwok can trust them, I think I can. Right? So I follow. I jump in. I remember very clearly at that time it was $6. When they did a private placement and everything. So we took. So since then we have ride the journey with them, until I think the 2007, if I remember correct the year, because I remember it because I left the company in 2008. That was the one of the most significant investment I made before I left the company. So we bought something like $6. So it went up to about $13, $14. Then one day, of course, the company went on the roadshow again. I remember at that time it was very clear it was JP Morgan brought them on they call it non-deal roadshow.
I see.
Not supposed to place out any share or whatever.
Just to brand awareness.
Just to tell story, just to let the foreign investors get to know them, and maybe buy their shares. So then after that they came back. I think that they either the major shareholders sold some shares, or they did a private placement. I couldn't remember what was it. But there was some selling of something.
Okay.
Then I was asking, why are they selling the things when if they are gone out and tell people how good the story is going to be? So that I said that I see a very big disparity in what they say and what they do, right? So I paid them a visit. So I went to visit after the thing. I got a very I was made a very sarcastic remark.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. What was it? What was the remark?
I said that, you fund managers. The management said, you fund managers always make the most money, easy money. We do all the hard work.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
I thought that we supported you, right?
Yeah. When you needed money,
we supported your business, right? We took your private placement so that you have the capital to go and build the business. Then we never questioned you, I mean that you deliver the result.
Anyway,
right?
I mean I'm a minority shareholder, so I only come and visit you every now and then. Right? I thought that response was a little bit too much to me. Yeah, and then when I look at the disparity between what they did and what they say, so I got a little bit uncomfortable.
I see.
Thank goodness I sold all.
My gosh.
Before the crash.
Yeah.
It was luck. But of course, we will never know that there was a financial scam, fraud ongoing during that period of time. Because all of us couldn't tell the difference between all their things. But there was one during that, on hindsight now, I look back on the whole thing. It was something very worrisome at that time. Something happened. The trip flying out is always full capacity. That means the planes are all stocked up, right? The goods, the cargoes. But the trip back is always underutilized. So it was only a one-side business that they are doing. That means they make money from the
outgoing
trip, right? But the incoming trip all lost money. However, the fantastic margin and the things continue to show. So this is the only thing that we always ask them, hey, how come your underutilization of your return trips? Can you do something about it to improve that so that we can see a better sustainable business? I say you cannot perpetually be shipping out full and come back empty, right? That means you're losing money. This business model cannot keep on going on this way. But they always say that they will. I mean, they have set up regional offices and they will build more, more marketing and bring more business in. But until the day we come, they never really done that.
I see.
So that was on hindsight, that was already a red flag.
I see.
Yeah.
But in the accounting numbers, very hard.
Can't tell.
Right?
And furthermore, I mean, we have a quote people sitting in the board.
Yeah.
How can we question these people don't want to do the job, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was actually a lucky thing, but it was a pure luck.
Okay.
That I become uncomfortable with the management based on that disparity.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. So
So
but of course,
do you have any more questions? I have one final question only.
It's a segue back to Malaysia, and perhaps we didn't go deep enough. But
yes. Part two.
Yeah, but maybe in your role when you were in MIDF, I know you mentioned what was it? There were certain things that you wanted to implement and you couldn't get done. But structurally, as a capital markets in Malaysia, where do you think are things that can be improved, and where do you think things are actually getting worse?
I think lots of things can get improved.
Maybe the top three that you see that maybe China's capital markets has improved, or even Indonesia. Don't talk about too far, right?
I think our neighbor is actually
IDX is really doing well. Yes.
Yeah, I can see that Indonesia is going to be the best performing economy. Yeah.
Why do you think that?
Region.
Is it because of certain policies of the capital markets? Are we too, too regulated, or are we too? There's not enough policies that does not allow entrepreneurs to actually grow here.
Leadership, I think.
Yeah. Well, my experience, I talk my experience. That was the year during the MIDF time that because I said, as I said just now, I look at Malaysian market, it has reached a bottleneck.
I see. Yeah,
Right?
I wanted to know the bottleneck.
Yeah, the bottleneck. Yeah, you can't go beyond that bottleneck. You're stuck there, right? So because we are not allowed to be a lot more progressive, right? We want to do hedge fund, we are not allowed. We want to short the market, we are not allowed, right? So that kind of the restriction already can see that we are all the same. All our competitors here all are doing the same thing. There's no differentiation.
There's no edge already.
Yeah, no edge. Nobody has any great story to tell, right? Something different from me, right? Yeah. So that was when we started talking about alternative products. We wanted to bring in a lot new alternative products, right? Because you want to increase the depth, right, and the breadth, right? Yeah. So we proposed to the authorities, but it took so long. I think we gave up. We gave up. So basically, there's no exchange. It's always proposed, landed there, and then it will just take a long time.
You go into a black hole.
Yeah. And or else they say, you don't have the capability now. Why don't you do a white labeling, feeder fund, right? That was the easy way out. I said, but you're telling me that I'm giving all my money to my foreign party so that I can look pretty here and do nothing here.
And it's not developing the capital markets locally.
Yeah. Because I think that the most important thing that I'm trying to tell them is I want to build capability here, right? Even if those products are not available here, I can't help it lah. I can only do the white label, right? I can only just do, but if I can build capability, why are you not letting me doing so? You can force it on all my foreign joint venture partner, because at that time we were. In the CMS Dresner the day.
CMS Dresner, the Alliance and
RCM, right? We sold their product for them. But I said, why can't you force them to manage out here and let us be the one of the managers?
Then you guys learn, develop the ecosystem.
That was like 15 years ago. If we started that on that journey at that time, we would have actually gained that capability. That was what I was trying to drive them to understand, right? Not all the alternative can be managed here, of course. Yeah, correct. But there are some, right? Yeah. So that was what I wanted to do. I couldn't do it, so no choice. So I went to MIDF, but the board, back out at the last minute. I couldn't do it.
Understand.
So enough lah. So I thought decided that's the end of the journey at that time. So now for you're saying that what can we do about it?
Yes.
I'm repeating my story 15 years ago.
Okay.
So if you want to start now, is it too late? Is it better late than never?
I think it's better late than never.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you just let the market take the risk. Let the investors take the risk. You can make them to inform, but you can never stop these people from progressing.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. If they want to take risk on a hedge fund manager, and that is not proven with no proven track record, so be it.
Yeah.
Right? Because at least that you allowed them to exist.
Let capital market forces
it. Yes. Maybe this guy cannot do it. That guy can do it.
Yeah.
Why are you stopping this trend?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I cannot imagine that they actually only allow it. How many years ago? That hedge fund? To be launched in Malaysia.
We interviewed.
We know of only one. Yeah, we only know.
Only one.
We interviewed MTC. MTC was the first one.
Correct.
They were telling me it took them how many? I can't remember.
It started in 2012, I think. 2012.
No. The company started in 2012, but they didn't launch the hedge fund until later.
Many years later.
Yes.
14. I think got 14.
I think it took longer than that.
Yeah.
I can't remember the exact dates, but they told me it was I think we spent a big chunk of the podcast just explaining the journey with SC, trying to convince them, it was tough.
I done my part. I think that I couldn't do it.
I think Derrick is looking at us. My God, I start from China, I come back here, and I'm like coming into capital markets that's like 15, 20 years regression rather than
regression.
Yeah,
it's a regression. Yeah.
No, because until today, right, I was just having a chat with the players in the industry. Is that there's this guy who just came back from overseas, capital markets overseas. He said, John, I just curious, how come there's only about less than 20 ETFs in Malaysia? Don't talk about long short, no, just talk about ETF markets, right? Yeah. It's a struggle.
Yeah.
Indeed, man. Okay, look, last question, right? I know, yes, we will have a part 2, but I have to ask both of you all. We'll start with Derrick, right? I know many lessons you've learned in investing, right? But for our listeners, right, who might be interested in getting into investing and all that, or already investors, what would you say is the single biggest lesson that you learned? Maybe unique to yourself.
Keep learning.
Okay.
Keep learning. Yeah. That's what I think is the most important thing.
Yeah. I think in the face of these world markets, you got to be a really humble person.
Yeah.
I can tell you that the market will always bring surprises, and then you will never know when is the end of the mania, and also of this kind of crash, right? You always thought that by calculation, by looking at your analytical work, that you are so confident.
Yeah.
So
Your model
sure.
is perfect.
Yeah, perfect. Wow,
Yeah.
I know based on the history, this and that. You can always overshoot and undershot.
Yeah.
You'll always get the new lows and new highs, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Variables,
So that is when actually the shock that you have to be ready to, to face. Yeah. I think that we have come across so many times, right? In the Asian financial crisis, right? .com bubble. Then you have the Great Recession, right? 2008.
I just follow on that. Do you have a specific moment where let's say your expectations were blown out of the water totally? Do you have one instance?
You see, I was not caught in the Asian financial crisis because at that time, in the early days, I didn't get to manage money yet. Right, the first 4 years, I didn't get to really manage serious money yet. So the really first time when I started managing money was 1998 onwards. Right, that was a time that I got a good bottom. Right, the market came down to 80-something%. So it was easy money to be made because when you have crashed down to the rock bottom, that low, anything you close your eyes, you also make some money, right? Yeah. So that at that time,
Small base
another great investment that we made was that we bought a lot of MPI and Unisem at that time. It was like a 4-5 bagger just within that 1 year, 2 years, that period of time. That was the quickest in terms of that
bounce back.
Yeah, I thought that we'll never see that again, but until after the COVID-19.
COVID was a straight line.
Yeah, that one's also another one. Yeah. So that was the easy money, and we saw the .com bubble, right, came down. We thought that maybe it's a small bubble, right? Maybe yes, there's excessive valuation problem. And then we thought that even a website can sell for billions of ringgit. That time everybody rushing to start a website. So this is all the behavior during the mania and the crashes, right? So the more you see them happening and repeating, of course they are always different. But you never underestimate how crazy people can become. Right. Yeah. So that's why the greed and the fear, I think I never get to appreciate it until I see so many crashes and the mania. The greed and the fear. Right. Yeah. So that two emotions, right, exemplified really all of us, all the participants. Right.
Instis included, not just retail.
Same.
Right? Yeah,
exactly. We're all human.
Yeah, exactly.
We are all human. Right. Fund managers are human too. Right. And all of us make mistakes. All of us underestimated a lot of things too. Right. Yeah. So how bad this bear market is going to be? Let's wait and see. Yeah, because this is going to be I think that it's going to be my last, I think, for my career, so to say.
Wow.
I think so. I think this is going to be the biggest in my career. I think this is a good a good ending to all the crashes that we see. This is going to be one of the biggest, definitely. It cannot be a small one.
We need to find out more in
part two.
Hopefully the crash haven't come yet, so you can talk about.
That time maybe we'll share with you more of our research and studies then.
Oh no, we would love to. We would love to. We haven't even touched base on that. I don't know about the audience. I definitely got that a lot.
Absolutely.
Did you enjoy the chat? Did you both enjoy the chat?
Sure.
Yeah.
We have to grill Derrick more in the
Yeah, you can grill him on the micro side.
Yes.
Okay, micro side. Yeah.
All right, guys, thank you so much for
Yeah.
coming on the podcast. We will now let you go. And guys, for those of you listening, definitely, I bet with you, 99% you've got a lot of value out of this. And if you did, please share it with your friends. Of course, as usual, like, comment, subscribe, follow us on Spotify and things like that. And we will see you in the next podcast.
Thank you, Scott and Derrick.
Thank
Welcome.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.